Hey, what's up? It's Symphony here. Subscribe to my brother Mr. Creepy as Hell channel, and when you're watching his videos, make sure you stay in one piece.
Here I am with my brother in the hospital for emotional support as I'm sitting with him as his wife is in labor. They're expecting their first child. They're expecting a baby girl, and he's over the moon, and I'm real happy for him. But as I'm hearing him talking about how he can't wait to do all these things once his daughter is born, I can't help but to think about how I almost was going to be a father and how I lost it all because we made that mistake of going into a stranger's house, not knowing who they really are and what they were capable of. But we were deceived, and this deception caused my wife to die, and it killed my unborn son. My name is Jake, and this happened to me 5 years ago. My wife, Vanessa, who was 7 months pregnant with our son, Jake Jr., we were about an hour away from getting back to our place after leaving my brother's wedding. He had just gotten married to his wife, and as we were driving, we unexpectedly came across some really bad weather. I turned on the radio station where we were at, and it said there was a tornado warning that was in effect about a mile away from where we were driving at. As I was driving, I noticed that the clouds went from slightly gray to dark gray, and then it went from dark gray to black to greenish. I already knew that the weather was about to get wicked really fast. As we were driving, my wife suggested, "Jake, we need to find somewhere to take shelter at because I think the weather is about to really get ugly, and I don't know, I don't feel like it's really safe for you to be driving right now." "Okay, if you feel like we should stop somewhere and take shelter, I will, but I feel like I can outdrive this storm." And I stopped mid-sentence as I saw a baseball-sized hail crash my windshield, and then more of it started to fall, hitting up against my car. Immediately, I drove as my wife was screaming and panicking. I wanted to hurry up and find somewhere to go at because I didn't want my wife to get hurt or something to happen to our baby. As I was driving, I saw a house that wasn't too far off. It was very close. I took my chances and I drove up in the driveway, and I immediately got out of the car. I grabbed my jacket and I got my wife out of the car, and I put my jacket over her head so she wouldn't get hurt. As we ran towards the house and we knocked on the door, immediately the door opened up to two elderly women that immediately gestured us to come in.
Come on, guys, get out of the storm. It's not safe for you to be out there. Y'all can stay inside with us till the storm passes over. Be very careful with her, she's pregnant. I see.
Once me and my wife, Vanessa, dried off, me and her thanked the two elderly women for letting us take shelter into their house until the storm passes. "Thank you for doing this. We really appreciate you guys." "Yes," like my wife said, "thank you guys for letting us in."
Oh, no problem. We couldn't allow a young couple like you be trapped in a storm.
One of the elderly women said to my wife while looking at her stomach. But as I was watching this elderly woman looking at my wife's stomach, I noticed that she had her tongue out. It was almost like she was licking her lips. And maybe I thought I was reading too much into it, but at the time, that was a warning sign, and I should have grabbed my wife and told her that we would have to go somewhere else. But like I said, I wasn't thinking, and I regret my ways of thinking in this situation. "Oh, thank you. I'm 7 months pregnant. I'm having a baby boy." "Yeah, it's our first child," I added.
Oh, well, congratulations. I'm really happy for you two. I hope y'all become wonderful parents and have many blessings. If you don't mind, I'm gonna make y'all something to eat. I know you guys are hungry. And I go up there and help her out. Oh my goodness, where are my manners? We did not introduce you guys. My name is Margaret, and this is my sister, Maggie.
"Oh, well, nice to meet you, Margaret and Maggie, and thank you for giving us shelter and for cooking for us," Vanessa said while shaking both Margaret and Maggie's hands. A couple hours later, Margaret and Maggie came out with food. They made macaroni and cheese, homemade style, and homemade meatloaf, along with a side of biscuits, gravy, vegetables, salad, along with dessert, custard pie. I almost forgot about having that weird feeling that Margaret gave to my wife when looking at her stomach. The food was really good, and it smelled really good as well. Me and my wife digged in. As me and Vanessa were eating, we noticed that Margaret and Maggie were just staring at us. They didn't eat none of the food. They didn't touch anything at all. They was just watching us while smiling. The smile that they gave just felt off to me, and it made me feel very uncomfortable. I was poking at Vanessa to try to gesture her to look up, and when she did, she also noticed it as well. Vanessa tried her very best to play it off. "Oh, I'm sorry. I hope we're not hogging up the food. You guys worked hard to make it. We want to make sure we're leaving you guys enough. So sorry about that. You can dig in if you want to, guys."
Oh, don't worry about it. We're not hungry at all. We already ate. We just wanted to make you guys something because we figured you were hungry and y'all need to eat. Especially you, Vanessa. You have a growing baby inside you. Want to make sure that baby is strong and healthy when it comes out. Yes, exactly. We don't mind at all. We're not hungry. You guys go ahead and eat. Don't worry about us.
They said to us, reassuring us that we weren't hogging up the food. After we ate everything and had the dessert, we suddenly felt really groggy and tired. It might have been from the long day we had trying to outrun a storm, but me and Vanessa were super tired. Well, I appreciate you guys for giving us shelter, but it looks like the storm let up. Me and Vanessa will be on our way. We gotta head back. We still got a lot of road to cover.
Oh no, I don't think you should be driving at all, Jake. You seem very tired, and so does Vanessa. We have an extra spare bedroom you two can have for tonight. You can leave in the morning when y'all are well rested and ready to go. Alright? I'm not gonna take no for an answer. That's for your safety.
Margaret insisted, but I really didn't want to stay overnight at these women's house. I didn't really know them that well to spend the night at their place. But then I looked at my wife Vanessa and I could tell she was very tired. So I put her interests before mine, and I agree. Alright, Margaret, you win. I guess we'll spend a night here. Besides, I could really use a bit of rest. Feel really tired all of a sudden. Just like this wave of drowsiness just came in all of a sudden. Appreciate it, guys. I'll let y'all lead us to our room.
Alright. Right this way.
Maggie said to me and Vanessa as she showed us our room. When we got in the room, it was a really big room. It had a queen-size bed for me and Vanessa to share. Overall, the room looked nice. Wasn't nothing interesting, just a basic room. It had a bathroom inside as well.
Alright, I got you a little gown here you could change into, Vanessa. You don't have to wear those clothes to bed. I'll take them and I'll wash them and they'll be clean by the morning before you guys leave out.
Oh, thank you, Maggie. That would be really nice if you can. And I appreciate the gown as well, Vanessa said as she took the gown from Maggie. A few minutes later, me and Vanessa got comfortable and we were already in bed. I was looking at Vanessa, was getting ready to ask her a question when I noticed that she already fell off to sleep. I figured she was very tired, and that's when drowsiness started to affect me, and I fell off to sleep. I don't know how long I was knocked out, but when I woke up, I felt like something was off. I felt on the other side of the bed for Vanessa, but when I felt on her side, I didn't feel anything. I immediately jumped out of my bed, and I cut on a light, and to my horror, Vanessa was gone. I tried my very best not to go to worst case scenarios. I was thinking that maybe Vanessa went to the bathroom. But when I looked into the bathroom and I saw the door wide open, it was empty and it was dark. So Vanessa was not in there. I slowly opened the room door and I walked out of there into the hallway looking for Vanessa. I was calling out to her lightly because I didn't want to disturb anyone. I was thinking that maybe Vanessa went downstairs to get her something to eat. Maybe she was hungry, or maybe she needed something to drink. But when I looked her all over the house, I didn't see Vanessa. And more stranger, I didn't even see Margaret or Maggie. They were nowhere to be found either. As I was looking around the house to see where Vanessa went at, I noticed something that caught my attention. In the backyard of Margaret and Maggie's house, there was a barn house. I never noticed it before. I looked closer at it, and it seems like something was lighting up inside the barn house. I figured it had been a candle based on how the lighting in the barn house looked. I went outside and I walked it over there slowly. And as I was walking over there slowly, I heard something that sounded like chanting. I was trying to process what was going on, but I had no idea what was happening. I walked closer to the barn, and it to me sounded like Margaret and Maggie, but they were speaking a different language that I never heard of before. A few moments later, the chanting stopped, and I walked it closer to the barn house because I wanted to know what was going on. And plus, I was about to ask Margaret and Maggie if they seen Vanessa, but I was kind of afraid of asking them after what I heard in that barn house. I walked closer and I decided just to look through the window to see what was going on and why were they making that weird chant. When I looked in the window, I almost felt like I was going to die. Laying in the bed with ropes tying their hands and legs was Vanessa, and she had blood all over her as well. And then my blood ran cold when I saw Margaret and Maggie. They looked completely different. They didn't look like the older women that took us in earlier that day. They looked like something out of a horror movie. Their skins were all scaly, and they had orange eyes and sharp teeth, and they had sharp nails. It didn't even look real. The only way I could tell that it was Margaret and Maggie, because these creatures that they turned into, they still had their hair and the accessory that they wore when they first let us into their house, plus their glasses as well. And plus, their voice still sounded the same. I was wondering what was going on, and then I saw something even more horrific. I saw Maggie walking towards Vanessa and rubbing her stomach. And then Maggie was telling Vanessa,
"Don't worry, Vanessa. You're doing this for a great cause. You're doing this for us so we can keep our enchanted youth that we had for 1,000 years. Your baby is gonna taste real good. We are really starving. The moment you and your husband came in, we were excited because we knew we found a meal. And on top of that, you're gonna have a delicious baby boy that we're gonna devour."
The minute I heard that, without any hesitation, I barged into the barn house. And when I did, I saw Margaret and Maggie looking at me like I committed the greatest sin ever. They gave me this look of evilness, like I wasn't supposed to be in here. But I didn't care. I wanted to save my wife Vanessa. There was no way in hell I'm letting these women try to eat her and our unborn child up. What the hell are you people? And what are you doing with Vanessa and my unborn child? I heard you. I know what you're about to do. Y'all say y'all are about to eat my unborn child and Vanessa, and I'm not gonna let that happen. I'm going to take her right now, and I'm getting the hell out of this house. You two are some crazy ass bitches, I said in a demanding tone. And then Margaret and Maggie looked at each other, and then they talked in unison and said,
"Oh, Jake, you should have stayed where you were at. If you had been asleep, it would look like you went missing. That wasn't really smart coming up here. Now we gotta take care of you as well. We'll be eating you as well. But first, we're gonna take care of your wife and your unborn child, because that's where we get most of our energy from. There's nothing you can do to stop this, Jake. We're hungry. Please, let us eat your wife and your unborn child."
I ignored them and I ran towards Vanessa, trying to set her free. But the moment I done that, I felt this force that came out of nowhere. It felt like invisible hands were grabbing my whole entire body, and it slammed me into the wall super hard, where I may have broken several bones. I remember yelping out in pain as it was really, really bad. I couldn't even move. And then Margaret came up to me and said,
"Jake, what are you doing? Do you think we're really gonna let you just walk out of here and take her? Sorry. Your wife is the key to our eternity and our fountain of youth. We want her and that baby, and we're gonna have it. You can't move. You're paralyzed in pain. Now, Maggie, let's get started. Ready when you are.
I tried to get up as I saw Margaret and Maggie walking towards Vanessa, but I was in a lot of pain, and I didn't even realize it when I looked down. My legs was dislocated, and it was bent in an odd way. I was in so much pain, but I didn't care. I tried to use all my willpower to stand up, but the pain was more powerful. I had to lay there as I watched Margaret and Maggie stand over Vanessa as they started to chant. I stood there in horror as I didn't know what I was going to do. I desperately wanted to get up and help her, and I wanted to get my wife away from whoever these women are, and I wanted to try to save her and my unborn child. I knew I couldn't live life without both of them. I tried to get up. I tried to push my body, but no matter how many times I tried to get up, the pain was so bad that it almost made me lightheaded and nauseous. I couldn't move. I tried everything. I tried one more time, but I couldn't get up. I was in so much pain, and then I yelled out, "No, I'm not going to allow this to happen. I'm not letting y'all take my wife and my unborn child. I'm not going to let this happen." As soon as I said that, they stopped the chanting, and then the moment of horror happened. Maggie ran over to my wife super fast, and with her nails, she cut open my wife's stomach. And what I saw next will really wreck me and damage me forever. I don't think I can ever recover after what I saw next. Maggie cut open my wife's stomach, and then Margaret came by my wife, and then she grabbed our unborn child. The child was small, and I can see these sick creatures looking at the baby like it was just a piece of meat to them. Both Maggie and Margaret laughed as drool was dripping down from their mouths, and then Margaret and Maggie both bit into the baby. I saw blood splattering everywhere. They ate my unborn child's legs, and they ate my unborn child's head. And then Margaret grabbed the umbilical cord and chopped it and then slurped it up like it was noodles. I recoiled and I vomited. And then after that, they began to eat at my wife. And once they done that, I already knew Vanessa was gone. After they ate her in full, they turned towards me, and they were thinking, should they eat me? And then that's when they walked it slower towards me, and I couldn't handle it anymore. I blacked out. When I finally woke up, it was morning, and I was outside in a field area, and I looked around, but I didn't know where I was at. I looked around, and I saw a bunch of officers surrounding me. I didn't know what was happening. I tried to talk to one of the officers about the situation I was in, but I blacked out again. When I woke up, I was in the hospital, and after recovering for a bit, which was about a day, they told me that my wife was missing and they couldn't find her. I tried to explain to them about what happened about Margaret and Maggie, the two elderly women who lived in a house together. But when I told the officer about it, he told me that that address doesn't exist, and there was no house where I was at. It's all land. But I assured the officer that I did see these two women, and they had my wife and my unborn child. But the officers were persistent and they told me that no one lives out in that area. That's when I realized that I was a prime suspect. They thought that I had something to do with it. But I assured them up and down that it wasn't me. I was never charged with anything for Vanessa's disappearance, but many people believe I had something to do with it, especially Vanessa's family. They think that I may have killed her, but that's not true. It was those two women, or what I thought were women, that did it. Here I am now with my brother, watching him become a father. Every day I can't stop thinking about Vanessa and our unborn child, Jake Jr. I would have had them right here with me. My son would have been 5 had he survived. It's not right. I hate the fact that I lost my son and my wife, and I'm never going to experience a family like them again.